Hello, in this video I will talk about what I've told the spouse to do for years. For years I told the spouse to put on a dress after the daycare hours, or when she started working in the different schools she had uniforms, but I haven't spoken to her in the last, this year I really haven't spoken to her. I just keep away from her. This year I haven't spoken to her. I don't tell her anything. I want this. I want you to buy. I did tell her I want you to buy a chemistry game called Elementio so that we can all learn chemistry for our children. And she said, go to work and buy it. Now at the same time, she takes my son to the mall and buys another pair of pants. And I thought he had 30, but we ended up counting. He had 10, 11, 12 pairs of pants. And I said, instead of so many, I think they've been in this box. Well, I just put them in this box, but they had been in his closet for maybe a whole year and he hasn't used them. He wears the same ones every day. So for years I told this spouse to put on a dress after work, right? Or now she would have to just change from her pants uniform, but she would not do this. So yesterday, for the first time in 7 years, she put on jean shorts and told her daughter, look, daughter. And I was surprised. Finally, this woman, she's putting the air conditioner colder because she says that she's hot from work. Whereas all these years, I used to tell her that I'm hot, and she used to say, I don't care. Her attitude was, I don't care. You don't move it. You don't touch it. And I'm like, okay, I'm cold. Well, now she works in the kitchen, and she says, I am hot. Yes, when she comes home, she's hot. I'm thinking to myself, she finally knows what hard work and being tired feels like, and the joy of relaxed clothing. Well, spouse, you still are disrespectful and refuse to sit down to talk things out. So I let you work. My listeners out there, you might learn this word. It's called passive aggressive. When you have an enemy that is stronger than you, you don't fight them head on. You do things like by my not working, she has to work. But now she's happy she gets food stamps. She's very grateful that she gets food stamps. And the other day she mentioned how the mortgage, they want $600 for 3 months, and they say that I don't earn enough money. And I told her, before she told me that, she said, read the mortgage paper. And I said, you speak English now, you just tell me what they want. And I asked her, are they being merciful and understanding, or are they being flexible? Merciful and flexible is what I told her. Are they being merciful and flexible? And she said nothing. She didn't answer me. But now she makes the connection. She is very, and I've told her this, you are very inconsiderate, ruthless, inflexible, impolite, disrespectful, and I could go on, rude. So now the mortgage company is being disrespectful, impolite. No, they're being respectful. They just tell her, you don't make enough money, get out of the house. I don't know what they're telling her. But since she herself is not merciful, karma, for those of you that are Christians, sowing and reaping. If you are unmerciful, if you are cruel, you shall receive that somehow. Remember the story about the king that forgave his servant $1 million or something, and then the servant walked and said thank you, and then the servant walked out and said, hey, you owe me $10, and he put that guy in jail. Then the king heard about it and said, I forgave you $1 million, and you put this man in jail for $10. You will go to jail now. So spouse, I let you work. You don't listen. You don't sit down. You don't stand still. You don't relax. You don't get comfortable. Except for those jeans. I mean, now she comes home after work and she's changing. You don't stay home. She's always like on the go somewhere. But now she wants to stay home a little bit more. Yes, a few times I have noticed she doesn't want to go anywhere. You don't plan anything. I think the last birthday party, my daughter was 1 year old. Alright, this was a while back. And I told the spouse, don't do it like this. Do it like I've seen the other parents in this condominium here that we live in. They invite the friends from the condominium one Saturday, and then they invite the other ones, like family, on another Saturday. Don't do it all at once. Because sure enough, all the women were inside. There were not enough chairs. And all the men were outside with me because there was no parking. So like we had taken other people's parking spots and we were just hanging out in front of our cars until the owners of those spots would say, hey, this is my parking spot. I'll move it right away, sir. You know, I mean, who's going to enjoy a birthday party like that? And I told her there's no space. I've seen others that they have birthday parties at the park, but if you're going to do it, she doesn't listen. She doesn't plan anything. I've told her to stop buying pork. She won't do it. She keeps buying pork. When I work, I want the money to be useful. And if I say no sodas and no juices that have so much sugar that it will make the children diabetics, then don't buy that stuff. I mean, I made lemonade today and yesterday. And I don't add any sugar to it, by the way. Tell the daughter to take 10-minute showers versus 20-minute showers. But this spouse doesn't tell the daughter anything, so that daughter thinks she's a queen bee. And then she says, cut the grass, Daniel. And I tell her, you have children. They can cut the grass for you. And the spouse says, I'm not going to tell my daughter to cut the grass. I said, she's big enough. She's as big as you are. Tell her to go cut the grass. And then the spouse says, no. And she cuts the grass. So, okay. What I want is a respectful daughter. And this spouse has given me a disrespectful daughter for not allowing anything that I suggest. This daughter doesn't wash dishes. And I told the spouse, I will wash the dishes if you bring my daughter to be right next to me washing the dishes with me. But the spouse says, no, she's a girl. No. So I said, okay. I walk in. Now I just stay in my room. I don't say anything. I wash my dish after dinner. I get over here. And if my son doesn't come back, I go get him, and then I come back here. And I hear them complaining. I hear them complaining about mopping the floor that there's so much sand, they're going to fall off. You know, it's slippery. All right, spouse, you don't read the Bible with me, and you don't read the Bible alone. All right? How do I know? She has clothing all over the place, and it's so disorderly that there's no. But she does have time to go watch novellas with my mother. Those Spanish novellas that don't finish. You don't hug me or kiss me. You buy toy guns and bows and arrows, but you don't supervise the boy. You don't hug or pet the dog. You don't organize your closet. You buy a basketball hoop, but you don't play or even come to watch your daughter play. But you do watch novellas instead. You buy juices with sugar instead of making lemonade. Do you want your kids to be diabetic? You complain that your son runs and runs, but you don't sit down either, nor do you take your son to the park or just put him to do exercise. You worship the god of worry and lack, the gods of worry, lack, the light bill god, the water bill god. You don't pray or teach your kids about God. You don't sing and rejoice with God. You don't teach your son to cook. You complain that your son won't eat and only eats cereal, but you keep buying the cereal. You won't go see a pastor with Daniel about marriage counseling. Alright, so there we go. This spouse is changing though, little by little. Because she didn't want food stamps, now she accepts food stamps. What, for 5 years now? Maybe 7 years, because once we came up here. In Miami, we didn't get the food stamps because she didn't want to go. And then when we did go, she wanted to go where there was a Spanish person. And so we went to her cousin's food stamp place. And that guy there says, oh, you can't get the food stamps here. You got to go to that office over there. But the spouse says, but they don't speak Spanish. And he said, oh, well. And he said, I know. They're also black. Yeah, because he knows where people live. He was a Spanish guy. So then we went to the black office where the food stamp office was. And one time in Miami, they told us no. And then I said, I had 2 jobs. You want me to quit one of them? But basically, that's what you got to do. And then you wonder, do I quit the second job? But then how do I pay this or that? So like, it's not the best way. Alright, so the spouse is changing. She will change eventually. Little by little. Especially now that I changed. I don't bother her one bit. Except for sex. I say, would you please give me sex? I mean, her sexual desire, I think, is 0. But I think that's most women, that they could live without a man, but a man needs a woman for sex reasons, sexual reasons. I mean, I could cook and all that stuff for myself, but for sex, I do need a woman. I know some guys, what they do is they buy these dolls that are $5,000. I haven't tried those dolls, but I mean, for $5,000, those dolls have to be great, right? But I don't have the $5,000. It would be nice to have one of those dolls, though. it wouldn't be the best. I prefer to have a spouse that wants to give me sex. Alright, take care of yourself. Be better than I am.